And another new Chaos model was spawned from the warp today. It is the Master of the Executions. Brand new HQ. We haven't seen this one before. This is the first entry of this model in the Codex. Let's open the blister box and look at the sprue. Okay, so we have a single tiny sprue, beautifully detailed as always, with some bony details on the shoulder pad and also on the leg of the Master of the Executions, and a giant Executioner axe. We have two head options. There is one with an Executioner's mask. So he's coming on the 40mm base, and then we have the little flyer with the build instructions. There is a profile here, but there are no special rules described. The rules for this guy are in the Vigils Ablaze book. So let's do it like this. I will build the model, and then we will do a review and we will discuss the rules from the Vigils book. Alright, so there is the Master of Executions build. This is another lovely model. Cannot say that this is my favorite one from the current release, but I still quite like him. He will bring some more diversity, some new features to your force. So as you can see, I have chosen the Executioner hood for his head. He also has this leather cloak stitched together. Who knows from what kind of leather this was stitched, and a massive Executioner axe. So let's do some model comparison. Let's first look at this guy from the Dark Vengeance set. This was an old set, as you can see. This is still on the old small base, but these bony structures that the Master of the Executions have on his shoulder pad and also on his leg here, we have seen the same thing before on this guy. I really love this model actually, so I'm really happy with the Master of Executions. It will be another figure in this bony style. As far as the size of the model goes, the Master of Executions is actually not that big when I compare him to the current champion from the Shadowspear box. The champion actually stands taller than the Master of the Executions if you account for the top knot and, you know, his raised chain axe. This model is actually bigger. So I think, since this is an HQ model, I will have to build some kind of a nice scenic base for him. Okay, so that is the model. Let's talk about his stats. Master of Executions. He has movement of 6, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 5 attacks, which is good, leadership 9, and save 3+. He doesn't have an invulnerable save. He has bolt pistols and grenades, but of course the main weapon is the Executioner axe. Oh, sorry, it is called Axe of Dismemberment. Yes. Strength times 2, AP -3, D3 damage. Pretty good. And there is a bonus. Each time you make a wound roll of 6+ with this weapon, the target unit suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any other damage. Then, of course, for the abilities, he has Death to the False Emperor. He has Trophy Taker, which says once per fight phase, you can re-roll 1 hit roll, wound roll, or damage roll for an attack made by this model that targets a character. So he's a character hunter. And then another ability is called Warp-Sighted Butcher, and it says, after the enemy has completed all of their charge moves, this model can perform heroic intervention if it is within 3 inches of an enemy model or 6 inches of enemy characters. If this model is within 6 inches of any enemy characters, it can move up to 6 inches when performing a heroic intervention instead of 3. So when it comes to the characters, he can actually heroically intervene 6 inches, just like the Space Wolves can. Another pretty cool thing. What puzzles me are 2 things. We have seen these new special characters in other new codices, like the Death Guard has a couple of them, but they are all elites and all have some buffing auras. The Master of Executions doesn't have a buffing aura. He is just on his own. Basically, he is a character hunter. And with his axe, which by the way doesn't suffer the -1 to hit, even though it doubles his strength, so it would be hitting on, it would have strength of 8, so you can actually open vehicles with this weapon, and then you can do the mortal wounds on top of that. That seems to me pretty good. So for 80 points, I think he is a good buy. And you can throw Mark of Corn on him to give him access to the stratagem to fight twice, or you can use him as a bodyguard for your shooty unit so that he can intervene when your shooty unit gets charged. Perhaps you can guard your Havocs with him.